Good evening. The May 2nd, 2024 regular meeting of the City of Murrieta's Parks and Recreation Commission is called to order. Would the secretary call roll for determination of a quorum, please?
Commissioner Wood?
Here.
Oh, sorry.
I thought we were doing this here.
Oh.
We can do that on the machine.
Yeah, for the roll call, it's the same.
Okay.
Commissioner Henneman?
Here.
Commissioner Gilliland?
Here.
Vice Chair Parker?
Here.
Chair Colopy?
Here.
Let the record reflect all commissioners are present.
Thank you very much. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Wood.
Okay, ready? I pledge allegiance
To the flag. It stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Wood. Let's move on to approval of the agenda. Commissioners, are there any changes to the agenda?
I don't have the agenda in front of me, so I can't tell you.
Oh, hit the agenda down here.
Technical support, would you mind assisting us with
How do we see the
retrieving the
previous?
agenda?
You go down here, right? Agenda.
You're in the agenda right now,
Oh, we're in it.
so it should have, or was emailed to you last week, but it won't be printed out to review, so
Okay,
the agenda is just as you're going along.
okay,
Is the current agenda.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Let me again ask commissioners, are there any changes to the agenda?
No.
No.
If none, then seeing none, may I call for a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
That's a touch vote.
How do you make, what do you make?
Could I get a second, please?
We're supposed to do it down here, right? But I don't know how to do it.
On the right side, motion in progress.
Just hit that?
I just think that I have an issue because I can't see I got it emailed to me, I read it at home, but I don't have it in front of me. So I have an issue of approving the agenda if I can't see it.
But that's what's up on the screen here.
But the detail's not there.
Oh, the details.
There's a thing called approval of the agenda, but I don't see an agenda. Oh,
So,
someone,
Madam Secretary, do we have a physical copy of the agenda?
Yes. Okay.
I guess what are we looking for that's not up here?
So, Chair,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Chair, this is the City Clerk, Crystal McDonald. So for anybody who's watching, so we are trying a new system, as all the other commissioners and council have. So the first one could be a little painful, so bear with us. So I have Kimberly here. She's going to actually help you go through the motion, the second, and the vote. And then she's going to also assist in reviewing anything that you may need from the new system, okay? I promise once you do it, it becomes intuitive. So just give us a little minute. But Kimberly is here to help, so we can make it happen the first day, okay?
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. We will be ready, and Chair, as long as you follow along and do it as normal, she's right behind you, and she's gonna walk them through it behind you all, okay? I believe we are a motion for approval of the agenda.
How do we vote?
So now you click whether you approve, you disapprove, abstain.
Okay, motion adopted, means this is already done.
So we have a motion and a second. Commissioners are voting.
It's up.
We're gonna redo the motion right now, so if you click on the tab that says on the floor, that's where we're able to make the motion and the second.
Okay, motion carries unanimously, 5-0.
No second required. So we're done, right?
No, we're redoing it, so if you wanna make the motion to approve it,
It's right there, isn't it approved? No, wait.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
you go over here, and you do a motion.
Okay.
Where did you?
And may,
Okay, we're gonna stop the motion. Now we're gonna start voting. Here we go. Yep. We're gonna stop voting, and we're gonna record it, and now you can flip and display it. There you go. Now make your announcement.
Motion carries unanimously, 5-0.
thank you very much. Moving on to the administrative update. Parks and Community Services Manager Administrative Update is the opportunity for the Parks and Community Services Manager, Leah Kolick, to provide community updates as well as department or commission announcements on current or upcoming projects. May we have an administrative update, please?
Yes. Good evening, Chair Colopy and Commissioners. This evening, we have 5 administrative updates for you. The first one is to welcome our new Commissioner, Robin Gilliland, and I'm going to allow her to speak for a few minutes on what it is that led her down this path to become a Commissioner.
Thank you so much, Leah. Good evening, fellow commissioners. My name is Robin Gilliland, and I have been a resident of Murrieta for about 9 years, but I've spent over 2 decades in the Valley. It's an honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to contribute to the betterment of our community in this capacity. I'm truly excited to bring my years of experience to the commission, particularly in the areas such as kids classes, special events, facility operations, museum management, and homeless services, all of which I did while employed at the City of Temecula. These experiences have not only shaped my professional journey, but have also instilled in me a deep passion for community engagement and service. I'm eager to collaborate with the fellow commission members and stakeholders to ensure that our parks and recreational facilities remain vibrant spaces where individuals and families can come together to learn, play, and connect. I'm committed to promoting inclusivity, wellness, and accessibility in all aspects of our recreational programming and facility management. Please know that I am fully dedicated to fulfilling the responsibilities of this role to the best of my abilities and am open to any guidance or suggestions you may have along the way. Together, I am confident that we can make a positive and lasting impact on the lives of those in our community. Once again, thank you for entrusting me with this important responsibility. I look forward to working alongside each of you to ensure that our parks and recreation offerings continue to enrich all the lives of our residents. Thank you.
Thank you very much and welcome. Commissioner Gilliland was sworn in earlier this evening.
All right, and our second administrative update this evening will be our Youth Advisory Committee report. And unfortunately, Nick Trin is unavailable to attend this evening. So in his stead, we have Recreation Supervisor Victor Patino to provide that Youth Advisory Committee report.
Good evening, Victor.
Good evening, esteemed members of the Parks and Recreation Commission. As you mentioned, I will give you an update for the YAC and the Youth Center per se. So for the month of March and April, the Youth Center has been pretty busy, averaging about 110 kids per day at the Youth Center. Our clubs continue to thrive month in and month out. Some highlighted portions of our program include a St. Patrick's Day scavenger hunt. We have a National Potato Chip Day, which was a big hit at the Youth Center. We also had a Jersey Day to commemorate the baseball season starting. Go Dodgers! And we also had a Minute to Win It challenge, which was a big hit at the Youth Center. We also had a really creative flyer framing crafting that we put dried out flowers into a frame, and that was pretty big hit. And my favorite one for this past month was our National Boba Day, where we did boba from scratch, which was really delicious. So, and our crowning achievement, besides the Youth Center standing there for 10 years, we made our first yearbook. And I brought each of the commissioners one that you guys could take home, and I'll pass that out after. So, yeah, that concludes our update for YAC.
Commissioners, are there questions on the Youth Center? Victor, again, your progress there is amazing, and you're really to be congratulated.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And now for our third administrative update, I bring you Recreation Coordinator Joe Baker, and he's going to provide the commission with an update on the Senior Center.
Good evening, Joe.
Good evening, everybody. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start off with some of the new updates that have happened since my last update with you guys. So a new class that we just went ahead and started up was our chair Tai Chi class. So we're currently offering a Tai Chi class and have been for quite some time. We do have a need for people who aren't as ambulatory, and we have some classes, but we were able to expand the Tai Chi to have a chair Tai Chi class now. That started about 2 months ago. It's been going fairly well. We also just started we've always had a Parkinson's caregiver support group, so that's really for the caregivers to come and share resources with each other, and just kind of support each other. But now we actually have a gentleman who has Parkinson's who's hosting a group, and he had his first meeting in April, and it was a big success. He's kind of already outgrowing, and his first meeting is outgrowing our conference room, so we're looking for a little bit bigger of a space for him, but that's good. We like to hear that. So. Other than that, we also expanded our yoga class. So we did see that there was a need. Our yoga class was filling up, like many of our classes, filling up every month. We had them in a small room, so we really went back over the months, looked at some numbers, and moved 2 classes around. So now we're able to accommodate 24 in that new yoga class. So we're already filling that one up first month. So I'm really happy about that. So I'm gonna move on to events. So coming up, we have our Ladies' Tea Party. So really excited about that. We're partnering with the Rotary Club. We're gonna have, they're gonna be providing us with sandwiches, and we're gonna be giving them tea. They're bringing their teacups. We'll have some, like a backdrop of photos. They always love to wear their fancy hats, which we love that too. And then other than that, we'll have also gonna have Rotary Club bringing some volunteers. We found that it's a lot easier to serve food when everyone sits down and we have servers bringing it to them. It's not as much chaos, so really glad for that partnership. So then we're also moving forward in a couple months, we're actually planning our kind of following the footsteps of the Youth Center. We had our first senior picture day last year, went really great. We had about 80, 85 people that came out. We gave them all a free photo. One of our staff members is actually a professional photographer, so that was a really, really good thing for us to have her to help us with that. So in a couple months, we're going to do our next one. We're trying to do this yearly, and I actually do also want to try to do a yearbook, a senior yearbook, so seniors can go back and see their friends and things like that. So I'm really excited for that. Also, upcoming in the summertime, we're going to have a advanced planning barbecue, which we had last year. One of our sponsors, Tom Bloom from Pre-Need Professionals, he'll be bringing he brings his grill out, and he'll be cooking hamburgers and hot dogs for about 75 people. So that's always a really good one we have every year. Working really hard out there, sweating on that grill, but he does a great job. So I'll move down to some of our services that we have to offer. So we just finished up our tax season. So AARP does a free tax service for the seniors, which is great. We've been doing it years since before I was working for the city of Murrieta, but it's very popular. We filled up 400 appointments probably in under 2 weeks, so it goes really quick. We got a lot of calls. The AARP is going to come out and do some makeup days as well. So if there's anybody that is doing it late, we tell them better late than never. So we're happy about that. They're going to continue, even though they had such a hectic season. They're going to continue to help us out through September. Let's see, and then we also have our lunch program, which is growing and expanding. I know when I started about 1.5 years ago with the city of Murrieta, and we were at about 45 meals per day. Some of those are to-go meals, some of them are had there in our cafeteria. We're actually up to about 85 every day. We're doing 85 every day. Sometimes we have 90 people signed up, but we're pumping those out, so it's a really good thing as well for the seniors here. We also, another service we offer is our fitness room. So it's a very nominal fee. It's $25 for non-residents and $30 for residents. I tell them all, you're not really going to find a gym anywhere else for that price. So it's really, really a good thing for them. We see about 400 people a month check into the fitness room. So we'd like to see that too. Hopefully we can get those numbers up a little bit, working on that as well. Let's see, and then we're also, another service we're providing is the Feeding America food boxes. So we've been pushing that on social media. We do about 280 boxes. They come out every fourth Tuesday of the month. They bring their food truck and set up in our parking lot. So we're doing about 280, trying to continue to push that on social media. It is for not just seniors, it's for all ages. Anybody who has a valid Riverside County ID can go and sign up. You sign up right there in the parking lot. So you guys know anybody? Send them our way. So then I'm going to go ahead and move on to some of our programs that we offer. We have a pretty good partnership with the Office on Aging, which is one of the best resources, in my opinion, in Riverside County. If there's something that we don't have, we partner up with them, and they can usually help us. So that's really good. They do info tables. They were at a health and resource fair last year, so looking forward to having them again. I know in the past, we didn't do this last year, but they do bring us like vouchers for the farmers markets for fruit and vegetables and things like that, and the seniors love that too. So we're working with them, trying to get that going again. Let's see here, and then another one we offer is Tech Table. So we have one of our sponsors who comes in. It's the third Monday of the month, and he does 15. Actually, he just advances to 20-minute sessions, and he'll work with a senior one-on-one. So they do need to bring their device, whether it be a laptop or their tablet or maybe their cell phone. They can ask them like specialized questions. Hey, how do I send an email? How do I check my Facebook? And we love that class because, as you guys know, technology has a million different things you can do, and everyone has a different, everybody wants to do something different. So we like that he's got that one-on-one with them. And like I said, he expanded to 20 minutes because we saw the need for that. So really, really happy about that program as well. We also have quite a few different brokers that come in and different insurance companies that come in to provide information, mainly around open enrollment, which happens in October and September. But yeah, they come in, and a lot of them provide arts and crafts for our seniors. Today we had a gentleman who does Name That Tune, which is a really fun game where they choose the artist and the title of the song to try to figure it out. But they love it, and he's got all the music from 50s to today, so that's a really good program. We like that. Other than that, the last thing I wanted to touch on is we are going to be doing our Free Fit in the Park again in July for Parks and Recreation Month. We did do that last year, so it kind of gives us a chance to showcase some of our classes. We actually last year used it kind of as a showcasing our classes, but promoting some of our classes that weren't as full every month. So looking forward to that again too. I actually plan to reach out to our contract class coordinator and see if maybe she has some other classes that maybe we can kind of partner up on that and see get some of those not as well attended classes some more attendance. And that's the end. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you very much. Appreciate the update. Quick question on the food box distribution. Are there income requirements for that?
So there was, I know since I've been there, there's no more income. It's actually just going to be one box per household. So you come and you have to have, they're going to go by the ID on your, the address on your ID, and then they'll give one per household. No income requirement, no age requirement on that.
Great. Thank you.
Well, if there are no additional questions, I can move forward to the fourth one. As you can tell, that's the highlights of the senior center. There is a lot going on, and I'm sure Joe could spend another couple of hours going in depth on all of that. But instead, we'll turn it back over. Did you have another question, Commissioner?
I did. I apologize. The stream
No,
of
that's okay.
consciousness tonight. Joe, do you anticipate, or do you sense there's any impediment to the seniors using B Street Station for exercise and that type of thing?
I don't think so. I noticed that it does get it gets used a lot more for the pickleball courts. I see that the pickleball courts are always busy there. As far as the equipment goes, I know it's kind of hit and miss. I have been pushing it a little more on. I did a social media post about maybe 5 weeks ago or so, and I do plan to do those a little more just to advertise the park and let them know about it. I've had a couple people I was able to turn over there, which is a really great thing the city offers, because a couple of the pieces of equipment are actually wheelchair accessible. So I had a lady looking for, somewhere where they could go to train for someone who was a paraplegic. And luckily, we were able to turn them over there. It's a free area for them to go work out. And I know he uses it. He comes in every once in a while, says hi still. So
Terrific. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to turn it back over to Recreation Supervisor Victor Patino, and he's going to provide you with an aquatics update.
Hi, we're back. So I'm going to be providing you the most anticipated summer aquatics, update for 2024. So it's going to be a quick slideshow. It's going to provide you just an overview of where we're at and what you can anticipate for the summer. So as we all know, California Oak Sports Park is currently permanently shut down until further notice due to an aging facility and other maintenance-related issues. However, staff has been very proactive and has taken steps to ensure the continuity of our summer program here with the residents of Murrieta. So that's the why. So what did we ended up doing? We ended up partnering up with the Murrieta Valley Unified School District. We have a joint agreement to use the high schools at some capacity during the summer to use their aquatics facilities or their pools. And when that's taking place, that's going to be occurring during the months of June 1st through September 28th, where the bigger portion of our programming would be taking place from June 1st to August 8th, and in a limited capacity after August 10th. And the good thing about it is we'll run all the way to September, only on Saturdays, but that still gives us a variety, better something than nothing, right? So, and what are we going to be offering? We're going to be offering the similar programs that we did when Cal Oaks was open. So we're going to be offering a public swim, water exercise, lap swim, and water swimming lessons. So it's still the same packaging, just a little bit condensed. Where are we going to be operating? This summer we're going to be operating out of Vista Murrieta High School's pool. And how are we going to do that? It's going to be a combination of CSD staff correlating with the Unified School District custodian team and our new vendor, Swan Aquatics, who will be taking over our lifeguard services. And they will also be conducting the swimming lesson portion of our programming. So that's kind of the lighter update. If you guys have any questions about it, I'm available to answer anything that you guys have.
Victor, with the migration to Vista's pool, will there be any gap in the services that were offered at the Cal Oaks pool versus what's offered at Vista?
The only gap would be the amount of days that we offer it. So currently, what is allowed and what is available, and to provide context, the reasoning for the availability is that Murrieta Valley is going under construction, their pool, and so their programming needs to get split between the other two pools, so between Mesa and Vista. So, working, diligently with the school district, we were able to kind of find a common ground where it's beneficial for them and for us. So Monday, Wednesdays, Saturdays, Sundays was the solution. So if you really kind of break it down, it's about 40 hours a week worth of programming that we're able to sustain. So yes, in some capacity, yeah, it's lower, but we're still offering the same amount of programming within those hours.
Is there an intention to put any signage at the Cal Oaks pool directing people to a phone number or the
Yes.
fact that
So the idea is once we're still, we're in the progress of solidifying the vendor contract. So once that everything is done, we will be heavily on social media. We'll advertise it everywhere we can, directing that the aquatics program will be full display at Vista.
Thank you.
Is Swan the same contractor we used the last time we had the pool open?
It's a different contractor.
And was the reason for that change?
The Premier did not submit a bid for
Okay.
this time around. So
Okay.
yeah, unfortunately, it was.
So they're doing lessons, providing lifeguards?
Correct.
All that?
Yes.
Okay.
I had a couple of questions
Yes, sir.
and concerns about the Cal Oaks pool going forward. And I don't know if this would be an appropriate time to bring those up, what the plans are.
We can certainly attempt to answer them to the best of our ability.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the project manager, the primary project manager for the Cal Oaks Sports Park pool, the design and so on, our project manager is Brian Crawford. He's not here with us
Right.
this evening, but we can answer to the best of our ability. And anything we cannot answer, we will find the answer for you and get back to you all on that.
I saw in the city council agenda about a month ago that the money that had been previously being channeled toward the repairs of the Cal Oaks pool was now being redirected by the city council to for the parking lot at the amphitheater and for a new fire station, I believe. In January, I emailed the city manager and I said, well, what's the backup plan for the pool? And we had a meeting. I had a meeting with her and with Javier, the finance director. And the city manager explained to me that in January, the city council had a workshop and they asked each city council person to list their priorities going forward for the coming year, which is something they do every year. And not one of the city council persons put down the rehabilitation of the Cal Oaks pool as a priority. And so that money got pushed aside. City manager explained that in January, the pool's not an issue. In July, it might be when it gets hot. And that we're making steps to alleviate that at least this year. Given that happened in January, I'm a little concerned that this issue wasn't brought to this commission's attention at our March meeting. I don't know if you were aware of it at the time. It seems to me since the priorities had changed and the funding mechanism, the funding being shifted was already in progress, that's something that this commission should have been made aware of because we've kind of been, riding the pool, seeing what's happened because we don't have a pool for the community. So I was a little concerned that didn't happen. The other thing on the pool, talking to the city officials, there are so many ADA requirements And it's going to cost so much money. It would cost so much money to rehabilitate that pool. And there was a $10 million figure thrown out. And flat out, the city doesn't have the money to rehabilitate the Cal Oaks pool. Flat out, the Cal Oaks pool is probably not going to come back. That's more me talking than any city officials. But given the situation over there and the age of the pool, it was suggested that it might be better and less expensive to relocate the pool from the Cal Oaks Sports Park to another area that's flat. Number one, that's one of the issues with the ADA compliance. But even given that, in the foreseeable future, and I'm not talking 2-3 years, I'm talking, I don't know what I'm talking. I don't know what I'm talking about. People will agree with that. But that it's going to be a long journey before the city has a community pool again. And I watched a Coffee with the City the other day, and the question was brought up there, and the answer wasn't as forthcoming as I'd hoped it would be, saying, okay, this is the reality. This is not a priority for the current city council, and there's no money to do it. And so I think we need to let people know that going forward in case of transparency. That's great we had to deal with the high school and the school district. And that's obviously, you would think, a stopgap thing. And I made the point at the meeting that, and it's a pun I don't mean it to be, that the school district could pull the plug on that at any time. If it didn't work out for the school district, if there was some type of incident at the pool during a city-sponsored swim. I brought up the example of the young person who drowned at Vista's pool a couple of years ago. That wasn't anything to do with what we're talking about, but the city, I mean, the school district could just say, we don't want to do this anymore. So I guess the bottom line is I'm a little disappointed with the lack of transparency. I'm disappointed that the city council doesn't find redoing the Cal Oaks pool a priority. And I think we should be transparent and let the community know that. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you, Commissioner Heineman. I would just add two things to that. One is that had we known earlier in March that this was not a priority for the council, I can speak for myself, and I'm sure for some of my colleagues, we would have been happy to come to a council meeting and speak to the issue during public comment, because part of what each of us as commissioners is charged with is being in the parks and talking to the people that are using them. And being in the Cal Oaks Sports Park, we have certainly talked to residents about the fact that there's a new pool coming. So that's a credibility issue for those commissioners that have been doing that, myself included. So I would echo the disappointment and the lack of transparency on that issue, and I think certainly the fact that this issue didn't appear on council's list of priorities is truly unfortunate. I think had we known that, we would have spoken up sooner at council as well.
Well, thank you for those comments. We will definitely relay that to our department director as well as the city manager's office. If there are no further comments or questions on the aquatics update, I'm happy to go into the community events update for the commission. So we had a very, very busy April. May lightened up a little bit. For May, if you look up on the screen, you'll notice that we have the final Parks and Recreation Master Plan workshop, in-person workshop on May 16th at the Community Center. This will be the final opportunity for the community to attend an in-person workshop to provide their input, their thoughts, their concerns, their ideas with regard to the update to the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. So we will be pushing that out on social media Nextdoor, Instagram, Twitter, X, all of those to see if we can get some additional input. So far, the responses have been really well received. Lots and lots of comments. We have gone out, staff has gone out to the youth center, the senior center, as well as market nights, and pushed the surveys and the feedback button on each of these website portals to try and get as much information as we can and get the word out. There is additional opportunities with the eHail Curran STEM and open house night that we will be attending, as well as, again, this final in-person opportunity for people to make their comments known. So that's Thursday, March 16th, 6 p.m. at the Community Center. And then the other item for May is our Memorial Day observance. That's going to take place on Memorial Day here at Town Square Park on Monday, May 27th at 8 o'clock in the morning. And we will be providing the board with an update, the program in advance, so you can have that information beforehand and attend if your schedule permits. Then we hit June, and June is a repeat of April. It is full of lots of events. 3 of the biggest events that the city puts on are happening in June. So the first one is the Father's Day Car Show. That is takes place the Saturday before Father's Day from 2 o'clock until 8. And then the next one will be the second concert promoted by Newman Hospitality Group. And this one will be the Old Town Music Festival here at Town Square Park. And if you go to their website, oldtownmusicfestival.com, you can see some of the lineup. I am not a country person, so I don't know any of these names, but Randy Houser, Brian Kelly, Breland, David Nail, Austin Williams, Kelsey Hart, Presley Tennant, Redneck Rodeo, and they just booked Thompson Square just the other day. So I hope those names resonate with the community. I don't know. So I'm sure there will be a huge crowd for this. It takes place June 22nd and June 23rd in between the Father's Day Car Show and then the next event, which is our birthday bash. This will be, I believe, our 33rd year having a birthday bash. Cal Oaks Sports Park is the place to be if you want to go and be a part of it. Takes place from 2 o'clock until the fireworks end, usually around 9:30. The hose down will be back. Hopefully we'll be having some different types of attractions and rides for the kids to play on. Lots of vendors. And then we will have our concerts. Our opening, our headlining band is Divas of Rock, which is a tribute to Pat Benatar, Stevie Nicks, Hart, and Joan Jett. And then our opening act are the Petty Breakers, which is a tribute to Tom Petty. So that is what I have for an update on special events. Additional information will be provided to the commission prior to each of the events coming up.
Thank you, Leah. Questions?
I just had a comment. I attended the first concert over there at the amphitheater, and at least from a spectator point of view, it was great. I was in general admission. There was a good crowd there. Nobody got out of hand that I could see. It was a little loud, and I understand that there were some complaints from some residents.
The Jazz and Blues Festival.
Jazz Blue,
yes.
that it was, and I would
Okay.
I would say that, just because I'm old, but I wasn't sitting that close to the stage, and glad that I wasn't. But it was I thought very well done. My wife pointed out the next day, and I don't know where this all fits in, that and there was alcohol sold, and I had a beer and I think a couple of canned margaritas, and they were fine. They were $12 a piece or so, 14, which is fine these days. That's but when we looked at our bill, our credit card bill, a couple of days later, we noticed that there was a 20% surcharge on top of those. I went to a food vendor and had a hot dog and some stuff, and they offered me the thing to designate a tip, and I did. But we weren't told about the 20% on the alcohol, which, you know, like I said, it's not outrageous given, but a sign saying a 20%, you know, tip will be applied to let people know would have probably been appropriate. I mean, that's a minor thing. The other thing I would say is that maybe at the early concert, the one in April, that maybe you push back the lead entertainer an hour because the sun goes down. And I mean, the weather was nice all day. Sun went down. It got cold out there. And some of us had been there since 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And because he didn't come on till like 8:15 or so, we left because it was just too cold. We noticed other people doing it too. So maybe in the early, and maybe when you get into the fall and the time is different again, maybe push back the headliner an hour to give, maybe keep it a little warm. Like I said, you can't do much about the weather. And also if there are issues with sound in the community, I don't know what the curfew is on loud noises. I know in wine country it's 9 o'clock. I don't know what the city's is, but I could hear them from my house well past 9 o'clock. I didn't mind, but and I live a couple miles away. But just suggestions.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you very much.
I just had a quick question. The attendance was reported at 2,500. I just wondered how that fit into the budget and whether that was break even, made a profit.
Well, again, this is a promoter sponsored, so
Understand.
so all of those numbers will probably be discussed at a debriefing a little bit later when they get all of their numbers crunched. So
Okay,
I don't have that information just yet, but we can certainly report back if you're curious.
appreciate it. Thanks, Leah. So at this time, any person may address the governing bodies on any subject pertaining to city business, which does not relate to any item listed on the printed agenda. Normally, no action may be considered or taken by the governing bodies on any matter not listed on the agenda. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. Madam Secretary, do we have any non-agenda public comments? Thank you very much. Moving on to consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar are to be considered routine by the governing bodies and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. There will be no discussion of these items unless before the governing body votes on the motion to adopt. Specific items are removed from the consent calendar for separate motions. Item 1 is the minutes. May I call for a motion and a second to approve the minutes?
Again, I'm stuck. I'm not sure how to do this. I make a motion, we approve the, right there. Okay, on the floor. I make a motion, we approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
Okay, actually, we need a second. Robin's moved.
I think Paul did.
Great, thank you. Enter your vote, please. Thank you. Moving on to discussion items. Item 2 is the field allocation policy final review. May we have a staff report? I beg your pardon. Item 2 is the field allocation policy final review. May we have a staff report, please?
You may. As Commission recalls, in March, we discussed the fields allocation policy, and the Commission had provided staff with some guidance on language cleanup and some other suggestions. So we are back before Commission with that update, with that language cleanup, and I'm going to turn it over to Recreation Supervisor Victor Patino to provide a presentation on PowerPoint.
All righty, you have me again. So this will be a quick slide presentation, just overview, summary of what we discussed in the previous, and I'll just kind of go over briefly on the items or topics that we kind of hashed out last time. So the quick summary here, we revisit some language, specific key terms like tournament, interleague, subleasing, training, camps, games, good standings, verbiage that needed a little bit of more substance. We also revisit language concerning fuel deposits and requirements. We also included our city fee schedule for reference to be incorporated with our revised policy. We also included language that provided a credit for any league that offered either an accredited or nationally recognized advancement program within the ranks. We also included language that defines the length of what a practice is for 2 hours in our policy. We also revisit language concerning tournaments, and so that it's more clearly defined in our policy. We also included new language regarding on-site concessions building use and the use from our leagues on those on-site concessions. We also removed priority language that related to the youth sports playing within the respective seasons since they play year-round, so that was removed. We also merged 2 sections relating to the health department and concession stands that had similar language, so we condensed that language. And we also removed any references to leagues playing in or outside a respective season that was within our policy. I promised it was going to be sweet and short, so here we are. If you guys have any questions, I'm available to answer any questions.
And I apologize for the late notice on providing the Commission with that comparison between the clean copy of March and the clean copy of May, but it gives you a more focused idea of what exactly was changed between the 2 meetings.
You'll notice that several commissioners are cross-eyed today, having worked to try
Yes.
to line that up the last time.
Yes.
Do we have any questions from the commission, please? Madam Secretary, are there any public comments on the item?
Thank you, Chair. There are no public comments.
Bring it back to the dais. Is there anything that we want to discuss on this before a vote? May I call for a motion and a second to approve staff's recommended updates to the field use and allocation policy, please?
I've made a motion, and looks like Commissioner Wood has seconded. Just want to say good job on that. That was quite a document.
Yeah, you like
A lot of red.
Enter your votes, please.
Motion carries unanimously, 5-0.
Thank you very much. Moving on to item 3, Parks, Projects, and Maintenance Report.
Just, oh, my apologies. I was just jumping back on the other one. I wanted to let the Commission know that the item then now goes to the City Council, and we will provide that date when it's scheduled and provide commission with that date in advance should you wish to attend that council meeting.
Thank you. Moving on to item 3, Parks, Projects, and Maintenance Report. May we have a staff report, please?
We do. So once again, I am not necessarily going to go line by line with everything that has been going on with Parks, Projects, and Maintenance Report. However, I wanted to provide updates on a number of the projects. So it's not listed here per se, but for Sykes Ranch, the historic elements, the notice of completion does go before City Council on May 7th, and that is for the improvements portion. We have kind of a mini phase underneath that, and that goes towards the identification of the historic elements within the park. So staff has a meeting with the Historic Society on Saturday to discuss the exact marker, which description goes where on the exact marker out there. We've also hired a graphics artist to provide us with a more elegant presentation to the community than what staff might be able to do on their PowerPoint or Outlook or whatever software we might have. And they will have a draft for staff next week. And with that, once that's done and everything's in place on the markers, we plan on having a ribbon cutting shortly thereafter. So, of course, commission will be invited, as well as the remaining family members of the Sykes family. So Calvin is very excited about this. He can't wait to be there and see his family history come alive. So I wanted to provide the commission with that update, as well as an update with regard to the Murrieta Through Time Rotary Project. They have everything ready to go. Their agreement has been approved. Their third-party contractor, their insurance has been approved. It looks like they'll start the installation of these granite panels on Monday, May 6th. It'll take them a few days to complete. Once it's complete, the Rotary plans to have a ribbon cutting. Right now, that tentative date is May 25th, but once staff has a confirmation of that date, we will let the commission know, and you'll be invited to that ribbon cutting. Lastly, I wanted to provide an update on the Parks and Recreation Master Plan and the Trails Master Plan portion. I wanted the commission to know that the consultant right now has placed cameras at certain intervals along the trails, and they are capturing information of who's using the trails, walkers, bikers, equestrian riders, etc., and when they're actually using the trails. So that's been an update since this report has been written. And with that, I'm happy to answer any additional questions the commission might have.
Questions, commissioners?
Are they seeing any snakes and coyotes on their cameras?
Yes. In fact, I think the Patch came out with an article today saying that this summer is going to be a really bad snake season.
Right, I know there was someone got bit the other day up on the plateau, so.
Yes, I saw that article.
Wear long pants and boots.
Yes.
No matter where you go. Anything going on with Pioneer Park?
The phase 2 portion?
Yeah,
That is going to be an opportunity site, likely listed in the Parks and Recreation Master Plan.
Okay.
The old master plan, the conceptual for that is very, very old and is probably obsolete at the moment, knowing that at that time, when that master plan was done, pickleball wasn't even on the radar for people. So I think the recommendation from our consultant will be to have that as an opportunity site, and then for the council to look at the priority listing that they're going to come up with and decide what amenities to add to that phase 2 section.
thank you.
No worries.
We've talked in the past about the coyote signs,
Mm-hmm.
and has any thought been put into making them large enough to see?
There's a budget item that's tagged to that right now, and we will need to investigate the costs involved on that. The smaller signs on the H stakes, they're very affordable, but larger signs, we will need to look into the costs on that for our budget, because it wasn't a budgeted item this year for that type of sign. So we will look into that. And
I
get
would
back
just mention again that, they might be affordable, but you have to be on top of them to read them. And at Cal Oaks Park, I watched last week a coyote really kind of stalking a lady and her dog. So, it's just a matter of liability and also fairness to the community. So,
We'll
thank
look
you.
into increased sizing, and then I will also recommend to my two social media gurus right here to increase the amount of posts on Facebook with regard to that, and considering that the Patch wrote that article about snakes, we might want to add social media posts about snakes as well.
I might just add on the Instagram page, you can include a copy of the signage in a photo.
Yes,
which I think
absolutely.
would be helpful too.
Yes.
I did have a question on the AED unit at Town Square Park, which is terrific,
Yes.
by the way. Where is it located, for one thing?
Okay.
And is there anything that indicates to people as they come into Town Square Park where to find that if they need it?
Excellent question. So first off, I want to give Laura Frasso kudos. She was on a Facebook Women in Parks and Recreation and found this cabinet that allows for the AED actual device to be secure and not vandalized. So kudos to her for finding that. And then the immediacy of getting that from the time she found it to the time it was installed and with electrical hooked up was 6 weeks. That's phenomenal in government time. So I want to congratulate all the staff that had any fingers in that pie. To your question, it is located on the back side, so it's park facing on the back side of the dressing room. And yes, there are identification markers for the public to know where that device is. And the way it works is if somebody is in need of having that device pulled out and used, there's a lock on it, and you have to call 911, and then the dispatcher gives you the code to unlock the cabinet. And then they take the device and follow the instructions. And then, so there's identification per code that we've installed to the public so they can locate it. And then we've also created a map for event organizers. Any event organizer that comes to use the park will have this map that identifies all the electrical cabinets, what type they are, so on, and as well as where that device is located. So that's how we're going to help the individuals get to that device should it ever be needed.
And I'm sure I would echo my colleagues' thoughts here too, that Laura continues to work miracles.
Yes, she does.
So please extend our thanks.
For many years.
Are there one of those devices at the senior center?
Oh, yes,
Sure, okay.
every facility has an AED. The trouble with Town Square Park was how to secure it without, because they're $2,800, how to secure it in such a way that it doesn't walk off. So in the past, what we were doing was kind of checking it out. But now it's in a secure cabinet, and it's good to have one in that particular park for sure.
I had one other thing real quick, because we were talking about signs. I think last year sometime, I thought it might be a good idea to put some type of sign near the teen center or the youth center, on Cal Oaks, now that all that shrubbery is gone and the car wash is open or whatever right there, but how many people drive up and down Cal Oaks Road every day and don't know that Murrieta even has a teen center? Even if they don't have a teen, what a cool thing to have in the community, and just some signage with an arrow pointing, Murrieta.
I'll confirm, but I am pretty sure there,
is
and
a
I'll
sign.
even tell you the color of the sign. There's a bluish colored sign
Yeah.
coming up Cal Oaks that says the Murrieta Youth Center. I mean, it's not very like, hey, Youth Center, but
I will double check that on my way home, but I go by there.
that's a great idea.
Yeah,
Yes,
but even a bigger sign,
absolutely.
just from a taxpayer point of view, hey, I want to move to Murrieta, at least they have a
It
youth
may
center.
be one directional.
Yeah, but that's a great idea. We'll look at it, and then maybe if the sign is not, big.
Right, because I
then
think
we'll look
unless
at it.
you're in that area, I mean, Cal Oaks obviously a busy road, but unless you go to Shabela and something like that, live around there, you probably don't know there's a,
But to your point, that's something that I do hear commonly,
Yeah.
just because it is more tucked in.
right.
To that.
It is tucked in, but now a sign would be visible on the road, whereas before there was,
And it is hidden with all the car wash signs and things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, appreciate it.
Madam Secretary, are there any public comments on this item?
Thank you, Chair. There are no public comments.
Any further discussion from the commission before we move forward? This is a receive and file item. Thank you very much. Let's move on to item 4, which is Recreation Activities and Events Report. May we have a staff report, please?
You certainly may. So once again, I'm not going to go line by line or event by event with regard to all of this wonderful programming that the City of Murrieta offers. But I did want to point out a couple of things. Joe had already mentioned the Mother's Day Tea. We have 16 registered, and that advertisement just went out, and we already have 16 registered. And ladies only, no gentlemen, are permitted for that event. I also wanted the commission to know that we have hired a new youth programming recreation coordinator. It's a replacement position from another staff that left the city for brighter skies. But this individual, in addition to the little critters, this individual will be taking on the task of ranger wrap, all the day camps, spring, winter, and summer. The park and play, if we can resurrect that activity again, as well as one-off events like date night, where parents can go off and drop off their children and have a night knowing that their children are in a safe and secure environment with lots of fun things to do. So Ashley Villardis is our new youth program recreation coordinator. And I also wanted to mention that with regard to the expanding of the youth center hours to the morning, staff will be meeting on that, I think, next week or the week after?
It'll be next week.
Next week, and we will be providing commission with a more in-depth update of what additional program hours looks like for the youth center. And with that, I have no additional comments to make for that report, and I'm happy to answer any additional questions.
I had a question for Victor. We talked about it earlier. Maybe it's a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Victor, I'm over at Cal Oaks on Saturdays with my grandkids.
Yes, sir.
And somebody's been dropping off a food cart over there. Not a food cart, but just a little cart with an umbrella, and they're going around. Is that been allowed by the city?
So in typical times, there's one-offs where they do drop off, but it's all sanctioned through us. There's health purpose.
So the one that's there is sanctioned?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other questions, commissioners? Thank you. Madam Secretary, are there any public comments on this item?
Thank you, Chair. There are no public comments.
Commission, any second thoughts about questions before we receive and file? Okay, this is a receive and file item. Thank you very much. Let's move on to item 5. Item 5 is the July 4th, 2024 commission meeting date. May we have a staff report, please?
You may. As you all know, the next regular commission meeting falls on the 4th of July holiday, which is a national holiday. And I'm sure we all have plans. I don't think anybody really wants to be here on July 4th. I doubt that we would get a whole lot of attendance. Probably not even many people watching us on Facebook Live. So we're bringing this item before the commission to discuss an alternative date that might be close enough to the 4th of July holiday that we can conduct regular business. Now, the regular meeting will be canceled, and this will be called a special meeting. So with that, I'm going to open it up to suggestions on an alternative date, knowing, however, I've already got my vacation planned from July 1st through July 14th. So it's up to commission if they would like to keep it on a Thursday, or if you want to look at an alternative date.
How about the 18th?
Eighteenth is good for me. I'm just checking my calendar.
Madam Secretary, are there any public comments on this item?
Thank you, Chair. There are no public comments.
So commissioners, having heard no additional comment, may I have a motion and a second to cancel the July 4th, 2024 Parks and Recreation Commission meeting and hold a special meeting on July 18th, 2024? Please enter your votes.
Motion carries unanimously, 5-0.
Thank you very much. So our July meeting will be July 18th, 2024. Moving on to commission member announcements. Commission member announcements is the opportunity for the commissioners to provide miscellaneous reports and announcements. Commissioners, are there any issues you wish to share? Commissioner Wood, anything from anyone to share? Commissioner Hunneman?
I think we're getting the hang of this new system. We'll probably forget it in 2 months, but I think we seem to be catching on. And I had asked earlier that these meetings are now being live streamed, which is fine, and recorded. But, and I don't know, I watched the Library Commission meeting the other night, not the whole thing. And then I went on Channel 3 at home and I noticed it wasn't on there. So I don't know if there's any plans to put it on the community, like the planning, I think Planning Commission and City Council meetings are on there now, but I don't know if going forward, if all the commission meetings were going to be available on Channel 3 for.
I would have to double check for you
Okay.
on that.
The other thing I would just, bring this up. Channel 3, the sound is like 5 times as loud as I go through there. Now, the commission meetings are fine, the chamber, but when they're going through and just they're playing the Murrieta song 93 times, it like scares the cat. And I don't know if there's anything the city can do about that or not. As long as we're talking about it, maybe there's a way to turn that down. And then, like I said, turn down that noise. Yeah, write a letter, yeah. I'll contact the media. But I was just curious to see if there was any type of adjustment, or maybe other people aren't having that issue, but I certainly am at my house. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Just a couple of things, if I could, please. Commissioner Gilliland, welcome. It's great to have you. It's nice to have a quorum after going almost a year with less than a full commission. It's much appreciated. A couple of questions, Leah, for you on the items to be added to the agenda. How soon do you need those in advance? If commissioners have any item that they wish to include on the agenda?
So the items to the agenda are by consensus, and the last time that staff had asked for what the commission wanted was the update from the senior center, and then the next update that commission wanted to have was with the park rangers. And then once we brought the park rangers up, we were going to ask the commission what other topics you wanted to be brought before you, and then it's by consensus. So an individual commissioner can't say, I want this item on the agenda. It would be like the commission as a whole, yes, we would like to see an update on such and such.
Is that a Brown Act issue?
It's so that there's an agreement with the commissioners that, yes, this item needs to be brought before us.
Okay.
If I
So-
could add, it's just that we meet every 2 months, and sometimes issues come up in that 2-month period that,
We can certainly send out something to the commission and say, is this an item that you would like on a future agenda? And we can take a call that way.
maybe a couple of weeks in advance so it can get on so staff has time to deal. It may even just be a discussion, which is fine, but.
But it just isn't so that one commissioner doesn't like dictate that agenda. So it needs to be the group in agreement saying, yeah, this is something we would like to discuss. It doesn't need to be necessarily at a commission meeting. You can let me know, and I can email out the commission and find out what everybody's thoughts are.
So that sounds like a great plan, but stepping back, where's that rule? That it can't be like Chris, who's chairman, wants to put this on the agenda. Is that a state rule or a city rule?
You know, I would need to research that a little bit more, but it was, as I was stepping into this role, it was the information that was provided to me at the time. That could definitely have changed. Obviously, I'm going to go and speak with the city clerk to confirm, but it was how I was told something, if a commissioner wanted something to be brought on the agenda, that this is the process. So I'm certainly going to research that, but that's what I was told at the time.
Can I jump in on one more thing?
Please.
Just, is there an update on the recommended changes to the park naming policy? Where is that at?
Excellent question. So
Thank you.
yes,
That's one
going-
tonight.
Excellent question. So yes, we've got permission to bring that forward to City Council. And once we have a date firm on that, staff will provide that information to the commission. So should you wish to attend that meeting, you can do so.
One of the things in my discussion with the city manager about a variety of subjects a month ago was in some municipalities, and I think maybe Robin knows better in Temecula, that they have on a fairly regular basis, commissioners or a commission reports to the council on what the commission has been doing. And say a couple of weeks, the meeting following or 2 meetings following the Parks and Rec Commission, it might be the Parks and Rec Commission's time to send someone to the city council meeting on an agenda item, say, here's a report on the most recent meeting for the Parks and Rec Commission. Now, we may not want to do that, or we may want to do it. I'm talking about the Traffic Commission, the Planning Commission, and the Library Commission, just so there is a connection between these committee meetings and what we're actually discussing here. We just, just give an update. We decided to do this, we updated this, we recommended this. Do you have any questions? And the city manager seemed to think that was a good idea, or at least an idea to investigate. So I was just going to go forward with that to say that wouldn't be a bad idea to, since we meet so infrequently and since it's very rare to have a city council person here. Maybe they're watching at home. Maybe they are.
Yes.
But just to give an update, and also to the community in a bigger forum with an audience, that we do have a Parks and Rec Commission, we do have a Traffic Commission, we do, and this is what they discussed at their recent meeting.
I am certainly. I'm sorry. Can I speak? Oh, yeah, of course.
So I've been listening to you up there. So hello, Mr. Hanneman. So the reason I wanted to interrupt is because I am privy to some of the conversations that have been had, but I do want to let you know that the first step of all of this is to get you all live and on an agenda management system, which we're doing, right? Then from there, it's going to be a robust outreach, letting everybody know we have the Traffic Commission, library. We're already working on a plan in the clerk's office, and we're working with all of your commission liaisons on that, what that looks like. We actually intend to start doing it briefly, like smallly, at the State of the City when they come visit. But what comes with that is also rules and procedures when it comes to each commission, which also includes adding future agenda items. So I just wanted to let you know I was up there listening, and that is all something that we're on the cusp of doing, and this is just the very beginning, Commission, if you can hear that. And I do think that I have had conversations with the city manager about report backs from all of the commissions, and the goal was to kind of get us comfortable live and maybe give us a couple meetings, and then we're going to start putting you guys on the agenda, is my understanding. So hopefully that helps you and Ms. Leah.
Right, and in a commission like ours, maybe we could alternate, some commissioner, Colopy or myself or Commissioner Wood, this would be your turn in the barrel this month to go to a city council meeting and make a brief report and answer any questions the city council might have. Keep that connection going.
I love it. Greater transparency, the better.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Hunneman swiped my last two items here, so that's it for me. Anything else? With no further business, this meeting is now adjourned.